Namaste, Namaskar, good morning to all of you. So, welcome to our 15th edition of the Qualitist show. We've started this 15 months ago, and every month we've been interviewing a distinguished qualitist. We select that qualitist and then have a conversation. So, thank you for being with us all these months, and we continue to expect your patronage. We thrive on it. So please send us any kind of encouragement and feedback. This month we decided to make up for some of the blips that happened over the last 15 months. We were behind schedule in the sense that we used to meet Qualitist every month, but we worked behind schedule. But well, thanks to Anshuman, we've corrected it this time. He brought it to our notice. So what Dr. Juran would call as correction, we sometimes call as improvement, but here we are. So without further ado, let me bring in my partner in crime, Anshuman Tiwari. Anshuman, good morning once again, and here we are
Morning.
for the
Yeah,
15th time.
fantastic. For
15th
the
time, huh?
15th time, and
Not bad.
each show is getting better than the earlier one. With of course a
Yeah,
lot of help from
at
the
least
guests, and
from yeah, the guests exactly, not us. We've been, I think, horrible.
we are pretty much doing the same thing, Balaji. But let's not tell anybody, So this is. Uh, I quickly wanted to make sure also that people on LinkedIn and YouTube can see us, even though you don't enjoy the view. But I can assure you that in a minute the view will get better. We will have our guest on the online. But do let us know that you are live and you can see Hardik. Good morning. Yes, so that means that LinkedIn is working. I can see on the panel that both LinkedIn and YouTube are working pretty well. But it's always good to know there are over 50 people already live, Balaji. So what we will do is that Balaji, is your screen stuck, or you giving me that look? So your screen is stuck. No problem. Um, yeah, while you join Shafali, yeah,
Yeah,
morning,
I
Vikram,
was.
yeah, Mahesh and
I just
everybody.
had
Yeah,
a
so
slight hiccup.
no
So yeah.
problem, no problem at all, no problem at all. No problem at
I,
all.
I wish I had my own satellite so we could have our own
I assume that you
conversations.
are giving me that dirty look this morning for making me do this once again, but fantastic. So we have quite a few guests on, especially LinkedIn, and Bakari, our friend from Africa, who joins pretty much every session, even though it is
Yeah,
quite early morning for him. Thank you, Bakari, for your patronage, and Bakari Abu Bakar. Those who can see is on the a lot of people now joining in. So yes, good morning to all of you. I can't anymore announce your names, but wanted to know that the show is live. So thank you very much. Let's get on with the show. I have a very special guest today, and Balaji and I are delighted that we can interview him. See, many of the guests that we have seen in this series are consultants or coaches for large global organizations, or are healthcare professionals of late, because that's been a focus of the Qimpro Foundation, healthcare and education. But there is a large world outside of the large corporations that we see, the small, middle scale, sector, which needs a lot of quality help, and not many people have been, investing their life, or the quality of the consulting available there is not of very high quality, must say. But there is one person whom I have been tracking for over for 13, 14 years now, and Balaji also knows him for quite a long time now. And So the guest today, Nital Zaveri, and I were on the 40 under 40 list in 2010, I think. Yeah, so he'll correct me. I'm sure he's a quality professional to the core, so he'll correct me if I'm wrong. But we were on the together on the 40 under 14 global quality list in 2010, if I recall. So that gives away our age a little bit, but at our age, who's hiding our age? So no problem with that. So a little bit about Nital. So Nital Zaveri is the founder and now MD of Concept Business Excellence, a leading consulting firm in operational and business excellence area. He's now recently appointed vice chair of the ASQ India section, which is a new section, by the way. ASQ is American Society for Quality, of which I have been a member for many years, no longer, but been uh, active member. A very passionate business excellence professional, as you may have seen or understood from my introduction. Uh, his client list is over 1,200 organizations, right? So that itself deserves huge applause. He's a mechanical engineer and several qualifications or certifications from ASQ and similar bodies, including Master Black Belt, Business Excellence Examiner, and many others, right? So, but the reason he is here is not these certifications. The reason he is here is because he's able to use these certifications for the betterment of industry in general. And he's completed an operational management course from IIM Bangalore, and in like I said, he was 40 under 40 along with me and a couple of others quite some time back. And this, by the way, was by the magazine Quality Progress. And so over the year, many accolades, and has been very active in industry circles as well through CII, FICCI, ACMA, and so on. The shining glory, and I will bring Nital so that he can listen to us while we talk. Namaste ji.
Okay, namaste.
Uh, Everything that I said, many of you and I and Balaji might either have received in our career or might do in our career. There is one thing that is extremely unique is that Nital Zaveri is one of the few people in our profession who's received an accolade and a signed letter by now Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, when he was Chief Minister in Gujarat. So that achievement is, you don't get those letters by just hanging around. There is a lot of work that goes into getting that kind of recognition. So for that and that alone, Nital deserves to be on the show. And of course, there is a lot more. So welcome, Nital. Any
Thank
opening
you.
comments from you as we get
Yep.
started?
You know
Yeah,
what,
so
Anshuman? I just
yeah,
realized something,
Sure.
Anshuman, before we Anita, just a minute, sir, because I want to just pay you a compliment, sir. I think you're the first qualitist to flaunt the qualitist badge. We are so
Uh,
proud to see you
yeah,
wear that badge. It's so
Let
nice of
me
you to
bring
say. I
that
think,
back so that
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
else
yeah.
can
Just
also
take a look.
see.
Yes. Even Anshuman,
yeah,
you and I should be ashamed of we never wore the damn badge.
yeah,
Look at that. And then
We,
see, my
we,
God, Nital sir, really
we can
fantastic.
blame
I
Mr.
think
Lura.
Suresh sir
He
would
is
have been
not in
very,
the
very happy
country.
to see this. So sorry for
No,
interrupting, but I had to interrupt. This is
no.
one of the biggest compliments you can give us and this movement. So thank you.
Thank
Yes, sir.
you.
Please go ahead.
yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Hanshuman, and thank you, Qimpro, and I'm yeah. One of the thing which I just wanted to correct is that was in 2011 November, Quality Month, when we were declared as the 40 under 40. The three Indians, you, me, and Dr. Imanshu Trivedi of Bosch Rexroth.
Uh,
So yeah, I was just searching for that picture where three of us were together in that near my university. But it is I think that photograph is in my old laptop actually now.
hmm.
So I think that was a very good beautiful memory that I have actually. And yeah, so I would like to just share my experience. I have been lucky actually, and as you mentioned, I feel I'm lucky because I mean, I was able to visit, all these 1,200 plus organizations. That itself is a huge, huge learning for me, actually. And even if I have not given to them anything, I have taken so many things from them, actually. And that has, helped me a lot, actually. So I'm just sometimes transferring good ideas from one company to another companies, So yeah, thank you on that.
Yeah, that is very humble of you. And now that you say, I now remember that Nirma University session where
Yeah,
Himanshu, yourself, and I were together, and at that time we did take a picture. It must be there
yeah,
somebody somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah, so good memory. It also shows that we've all been at this path of quality for many years, and we
yes,
need many more people to be on this path and to make quality the profession that everybody should follow.
Yes.
And that's the whole reason, Nital, that the whole quality series is there. We want to bring successful, distinguished qualities like yourself to inspire and the another generation, and of course our own generation as well. We are not done yet, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I
so
think you are doing a great job of bringing everybody together and spreading this voice of quality. That's a great
no,
thing.
so Paul, Balaji, and I, with a lot of support from Mr. Lula, who sometimes surprising, gives us a surprise and joins the session midway. So who knows?
Okay.
Today might be the session, but yeah. So one comment quickly for the audience as well is that, as always, those who are regular, of course, will know that we take questions, and we take questions around. I see another distinguished qualitist, Dr. Sunil Gupta, is in this session now. So, Dr. Gupta, thank you very much. Dr. Gupta was, I think, the third or fourth interview that we had done, Balaji.
Mm.
So, very special to have him back. Thank you, sir. But what I was saying is that these show, those who are new might not know this, so I'm repeating that a all these shows are recorded, but that doesn't mean that you leave the show now, right? So stay on. But now that you are here, so, so all these shows are recorded. They are available at the same link that you use to access it, both on YouTube um and LinkedIn. The same link works, so don't worry. In case you miss a little bit or internet issues or anything, the show will stay there. You can watch it later, and of course, you will be very very happy on behalf of Qimpro Foundation, and grateful as well that if you can share these shows amongst your quality colleagues, friends, and so that the word can spread out. We do want that to happen. So. Okay, and of course, quick reminder that if you do like this kind of content, I will post a link to the playlist of the previous shows. You can go there, or alternatively, you can follow me or subscribe me so that you get all these alerts in time. So with that, we have Yashwant Gokhale, also another very popular,
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
so quality professional. So this is quite a show, Nital. Looks like you are
Thank
popular.
you.
People want to hear to you, listen to you.
Yeah,
So
Yashwant Gokhale sir calls himself young man Gokhale.
he is
Yes.
indeed. Okay, so we have a series of a few questions prepared, and then we'll get into the audience questions, Nital. That is the format of
Yeah.
the show. So
Sure.
without further ado, let's get into the show. So first
Yeah.
one, since I have the mic, I have the privilege. So you are today, of course, a distinguished qualitist. Very accomplished in your field, and we wish you well for many more accolades. But you've arrived at uh, I would say, prestigious position in the quality world, and being a distinguished feature qualitist itself is in a way reflection of that. But this is not how it started, right? So, where did you start? How did you get into quality? For some of us, it has been an accident. For some others, it was very well planned. What is your story quickly? And if towards the end you can also include how you got in touch with Mr. Lula and Qimpro, that would also be a good
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. So actually, if I have to tell you my story of how I got into this field of quality, so this is actually in four parts actually. So it actually started from my childhood. My father was working with a Japanese company throughout. Maximum of his career he has spent in a Japanese company called Panasonic. Earlier it was called Novino. They used to manufacture batteries, and it
Batteries.
is now in the name of Panasonic. It is still there. And so when I was a kid, actually, my father always used to discuss quality at home also, because it was a Japanese company and a lot of stories. They used to do always, morning prayer, morning exercise. There was no cabin, there was no peon in that company actually, by the way. In that time actually, even chairman had no peon actually. So even chairman had to take a water, he has to stand up and get the water. So he used to keep on telling us those stories. We used to get one, every year, in the month of December we used to get a new year calendar in advance, and in the back page of that calendar was, we have to do this some crayoning or some coloring or something like that, and the theme was always good housekeeping, quality, and some stuff like that. I never knew that crayoning and all those things. And when we used to submit this at the annual day, we used to get some prize. But in a way, they were trying to impose some quality thoughts into us actually, and that I realize now actually. So that is from that are the seeds of quality from the childhood. When I started working as an engineer in my first company, because my father used to talk about quality circles and all that in those days. So I also told that company that, in my company, that, Japanese companies do these quality circles, we should also do this. And I initiated those quality circle, and it was successful, so that is how I got again, some more, I would say, interest into this quality field actually. Later on, I quit that company. I worked in industry only for 6 years, and then we used to have a consultant who used to help us for quality management system, and he offered me that, do you want to be partner with me, and then we can start a new consulting company. So I became a consultant at the age of 28 only. And many people think, and they tell me that you are so lucky that you started your consulting at the age of 28 actually. So otherwise, most of the people think of consulting as a career after retirement actually. I mean 90% plus people actually. So again, there also I was lucky because I could start my consulting at early stage. And yeah, and then in 2010 was a one major breakthrough, because I was sent to Japan by government of India in a one program called a study mission on Asian countries on quality. So National Productivity Council somehow they sent me, and it was a government sponsored program to Japan to study what are some of the practices happening in Japan. And that was again, like, I was in the field of quality. My first country overseas I visited is also Japan actually. So that was also a very good coincidence actually. And I was really, whatever I have read in the books or learned, and I could see practically implemented over there actually in their day-to-day life in the industries that we visited. And after visiting that, in Japan, I thought I should learn more actually. And then that is how I came in touch with this RBNQA, IMC RBNQA. And there I met Dr. Suresh Lula. And the same year, I also joined ASQ, American Society for Quality, and started playing active part in, promoting quality and understanding quality. Yeah, so this is, one very good memory that I have. And the last I would like to mention is that in 2015, again, I had another very good learning opportunity because I was invited by ASQ, American Society for Quality, in World Quality Conference as a judge. So again, that was also very interesting experience, because a lot of companies used to present their case studies and how they build quality culture, how they solve the quality problems. So it was overall very, very encouraging. And I also feel sometimes that I'm lucky that I got into this field actually, thanks to my father, I would say. That I'm in this field actually. Yeah, yeah, so that's a little story of my, yeah, quality journey.
Totally awesome, Nital. This I, I've never heard this, that the you as a sketchbook and playbook, and that sowed the seeds. This is a
Yeah,
message to all companies which do these kind of programs, that please
yeah,
continue doing these kind of programs, because you might get a gem like Nital out of those kind of exercise. So very interesting one. Thank you very much.
yeah,
Balaji, over to you.
Yeah, Nital sir, when listening to how you got into qualities, talking about your previous generation, something parallel. Even my father used to work for a Japanese company.
okay.
This was Showa Electric. And
Okay,
but of course,
okay.
I was too small to even, like you said, to know about these things. But in 1980, when when Deming was rediscovered in America, and then there was a big re-interest in the field of quality, then people started visiting our home, because Japanese, and then I used to hear him tell stories. So even my introduction to quality was, I think, a subconscious thing rather than something that
Yeah,
happened later. But amazing, very, very, very nice to hear this. And how you built upon it, because we all get exposed to this, but how you build upon it is how you react to it is and respond to it is really important. So that was amazing.
Thank you.
One of the major things that, when I was reading about what you had done, and is your major work with MSME, because people that's where everything actually needs to be reformed. If you take a look at, because the big people, yeah, the awareness is there, but they are dependent a lot on the MSMEs to get the work done. So you're doing a lot of work there. So any of the over the years, any of the quality practices, or some things that you, or some epoch making events, or some maybe some things that you saw maybe adapting and adopting over there, that you could share with us, that we from other domains can really pick up? Anything over the years that you saw that you would like to tell the audience?
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for asking this question, because most of the time, as Anshuman also mentioned, when it comes to concepts like this, usually there is a mindset that people think that it is only applicable to large scale industries and corporates and companies like those. And SMEs, it's really difficult because it is not possible. They have a lot of other issues and stuff like that. So we have been working with a lot of SMEs, and we have seen some very good success stories. In fact, I would like to just mention one very good success story, which is a small electrical component manufacturing company, and the owner was so passionate about quality, and then we wanted to create the infrastructure and create a culture of quality actually, and we worked with them for around 4 years actually. Now after 4 years, what has happened is that even some multinational companies, they called us and they said, we want to give you a consulting assignment, but we want references. And then I say, okay, I have these references of multinational companies that we have worked with. And they said, no, we don't want your references of multinational companies, we want your references the companies which were small, and you have build the quality into those companies. So I said, yeah, I have one case study. Can you just visit this company? And then one of the representative visited that small company. So they have around 150 employees only. So when this representative visited, he was so surprised that this is also possible in small and medium enterprises. And he went back the next week. The entire senior team of that company visited. They say, we also want to see this company actually. So that was one very good privilege for us actually. Now see what happens in small and medium enterprises is basically the owners. We have to work first of all with the owners and change their mindset, or tell them about they come to us and they say, we want to do 5S, we want to do Six Sigma, we want to do lean. And we say, why you want to do them? My first question is always, why you want to do this? Just because your competitor has done something, you should not do it actually. So why, what is the purpose, what is it that is driving you actually? So, and we work, we discuss with them, and we kind of bring out some very good intent for doing all these things for the long term, rather than just looking at this as some of the tools. Also we emphasize that they should not just focus on tools, but they should actually focus on I would say culture building for quality improvement. That's where they will actually, so tools may be temporary, but culture will remain there actually. So how do we over a period of time engage and improve the culture in the organization? So we always focus on purpose over plan. We always focus on engagement over involvement. I always say this, that there are three things actually. One is that people are, if you are in a meeting, you are sitting over there and you are not speaking, you are just involved actually. When you are speaking something in the meeting, you are participating, but when you are doing something together with your team, you are engaging. So what we want is engagement of the people at every level, and we in all our most of our assignments we ensure that even senior people also, they are engaged in doing certain activities on the shop floor. For example, in some of the small companies, we have forced, not forced I would say, but we have convinced the top management to clean the shop floor actually, not every day but at least on periodically. And we have also given some areas which are being owned by those owners rather than the operators actually. And those companies, the turnaround has been really phenomenal and fantastic. So purpose over plan, engagement over involvement, and practice over preaching. We don't encourage them to put a lot of boards and a lot of slogans on wall about quality and vision and mission and all those things. They have to reflect, ultimate certificate or ultimate prize on quality is given by your customer. That's the I mean that's very, it's very simple to understand, but most of the companies, they don't, they don't realize it still. So they keep, putting posters and stuff like that. So these are the things that we usually, work implement with the small and medium enterprises. And yeah, I mean, we don't have 100% success, but we have a lot of good case studies which others have also seen, and then they are also trying to adopt actually. uh, yes, so that is what I think I would like to just mention for the small and medium enterprise owners actually.
Wow, Anshuman, a lot to write, a lot to write.
Yeah, absolutely. I was making furious notes, and
Yeah, I could see that. And there's so
yeah,
much he just captured. I mean, the purpose over the plan. I mean, you always talk about these things, isn't it? Why are you doing something? Why are you more than just what are you trying to do? And then we're talking about
Yeah.
getting people getting to enjoy what they're doing, so engaging them, and then of course the practice. I love that that you take this up and do it yourself. I remember even when we were implementing 5S in our company, and Anshuman, you know Mr. Ramchandran, R.V.
yeah,
Ramchandran, and I took him through the shop floor, showing him very proudly what we had done. And then when we came back to his cabin, he had not said a word. He had not said a single word. I said, sir, something, I said I wanted him to even be sarcastic, but something. He said, you know what, Balaji? I came to the office early today and I dropped a piece of paper on the floor. I want you to find. That was enough for me to figure out what this man wanted from me. you know. And when I found it, I there was foot marks on that. And that means people had come and gone, but
Yeah.
nobody had picked it up. So I'll never forget that morning in my life. So that it reminded me, Nital Saab, when you just said that because this is one of the things I think many people watching this should know, that it begins with the top people, and if they do it themselves, you can see that engagement comes in, and they themselves feel good about it. They also feel that there's some kind of commitment. I mean,
Yeah.
amazing, very 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 nice. Yes, Anshuman, please take it
Yeah.
away.
yeah. No, I was also reminded of one. So I spent some of my early career in manufacturing and similar. Most of my clients were in the manufacturing that time, and I still remember one instance where I was initially very impressed with this huge board on the shop floor. Everything was printed and it used to look very nice. And every visit, I would try and read it. And then I saw that I had taken a control chart class with them in about 2 months ago. So
Okay.
then there was and for those who in the audience are not familiar with control chart is a statistical, you can say, tool where you plot performance of your process over a period of time. So this control chart was printed, and then it struck me that what is looking beautiful is actually useless because you don't print control chart, you plot, right? um, my view of that particular organization and that department and the function completely changed, and it was also a rude reminder to me that my control chart lesson had completely failed because I had not included how to use control charts in that session. So it was
Mm.
also a reminder to me that my training class was not very successful because I had certainly taught them what is a control chart. They had plotted it correctly. All that is fine, but how about taking a pencil and plotting it on a daily basis instead of
Correct.
printing it?
Correct.
What is the point? And you are wasting, of course, paper, pen, paper, ink, printer, everything. So I couldn't help but remember my early consulting days, Nikhil. So thank you very much. And talking of early days brings me to my next question as well. So you are still very young, Nital. We will not push you, though we have dropped a hint early in this session on our ages. So if 10, 13 years ago we were both under 40, then there is a strong hint there. So, but the question we had, Balaji and I had, was assuming you met your younger self, or you meet somebody who now wants to get into quality and or similar areas. What would your advice be from a career, learning, lessons, anything that you may want to give in a capsule to a younger person or to a younger Nital as such?
Yeah. Okay. Interesting, actually. I think, if you, I just recollect that my one of my favorite quality book is the Handbook of Juran, actually, on quality. And in the section 5 of that book, Juran has given one statement. Actually, he says the best business to be in is quality improvement.
It's a quality business.
And that is one of the very powerful statement by Juran, actually. And he says there is no recession in this field, actually,
Yes.
because there is always a scope of improvement in quality, actually. So my advice is, definitely quality is a very good career. Unfortunately, in our country, we don't have specific courses. We have, people are coming into the field of quality. They are either some other mechanical engineers or electrical engineers or some other stream, and then they get into quality. So they learn usually quality like, Anshuman, you, me, and Balaji have learned, actually. So there is no formal education on quality. Of course, some of the universities and colleges have started an attempt, actually, but it is at a very early stage, actually. But quality is a great career, and I most of the time I interact with young students also in, say, various colleges. They say, they think quality means inspection. That is the problem, actually. They think if I go into the quality field, I will have to pick up some instrument, or I will have to go into the laboratory and do some kind of testing. That's the job of the quality. But actually, they have to understand that it is not actually the job of the quality. So if any young person who is thinking about quality career, actually think about quality improvement as a career. You can start with quality function, but you can ultimately go into the area of how can we improve the quality. And if you can learn those tools, techniques, and those philosophies, then you will be never having any trouble in your career. And not only that, you have to be in the quality department to improve quality. I mean, in any field, you can you are maybe not in quality function, you are in any other function, but still, maybe sales, or maybe supply chain, or maybe any other function, but still, the quality improvement learnings are essential, actually. Because when you look at your processes, when you look at the results that you achieve, you will find that there are always gaps, actually. So quality improvement is definitely a great career, I would say. Don't think of just inspection means quality as a career, actually. And Dr. Philip Crosby also said, the system of quality is improvement, actually. So that is the only, and the four absolutes of quality. So huge opportunities available, and I think people should think about this. And now, as you also know, many companies are having a dedicated department for QI, quality improvement. They may name it differently, like OPEX department or business excellence department, but they need people, actually, and they don't find people, actually. So there are huge opportunities available. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
This,
fantastic. So I think I was reminded, like when you were saying, Nital, that how getting into quality, and we interview quite a lot of people, and we often find that while we have jobs in quality, we don't find quality of quality professionals good enough. So
Yeah.
there is a inherent, I would say, crisis currently going on, that while there is a very strong demand for quality professionals, the availability is limited and often poor. And also, sadly, many professionals I interview, at least, and I do quite a bit, are stuck in 15 years ago concepts, so don't
Yes.
want to grow and learn. And if you ask a question, what have you added to your toolkit in the last 15 years? Nothing. So that's a very stark reminder. And through you and this show, we all want to remind everybody in the audience, and anybody who will watch this show as a recorded show later on as well, that the quality of the quality profession is in our hands as qualitists or future qualitists or potential qualitists. We must improve our game and make this wonderful profession, even more robust and worthy of what it is, like the legacy of Dr. Joanne and Deming and other leaders is in our hands, really. So
Yeah.
50 years from now, people will not remember the contribution of these stalwarts if we
Yeah.
don't do our part.
Correct.
So that's a thank you for the reminder, Nital. And it's not often that we get to this point in the show with such a strong comment. But we have some questions coming in. But what we'll do, Balaji, maybe you proceed with your question, and then we'll dive into some of these. Hmm?
Yeah, sure. In fact, my question is just an extension of what you just spoke of,
Sure.
Uh, things have changed so much, and Anjuman just said here, how the quality profession began and what it is now. Sometimes I have this imaginary thought that what if Walter Schuhart were to resurrect himself now? Would he be happy with what he's seeing right now?
Correct.
Have we really taken this field where maybe he intended? I think one of the things where I think we made a lot of progress, especially since the internet has taken, has linked us all together, is that information is now available everywhere. We instead of having averages and things like this, we can actually get the actual data, the
Correct.
second at which things happen, the transactions, and but then again, the way we look at the data, I think that is going to determine the difference between success and failure, right? And what
You're right.
conclusions we draw. So,
Yeah.
what's your view? Or what do you think is going to be the future? Because you just said that you see things from the past, and people are having a lot of misconceptions about it. But what do you see the future now? Like, where do you think we're headed, and what do we need to? Are there any areas of focus that you would like to raise a flag on that you feel that this is going to be the next big thing? And how do we need to take this forward? Like Anjuman just said, we have a huge legacy and we need to take it forward. So how would you
Yeah.
anything that comes to your mind?
Yeah. So yeah, so I think future of quality will be definitely, as we all know now, there is a term that we are also using called quality 4.0, like industry 4.0. There will be like another version also, where now you also see that a lot of places we are using this technology, IIoT and Internet of Things, and that is being used in quality also nowadays actually, and that is helping leaders and engineers to detect the quality issues actually. But I think most of the technology that we have today, even advanced technology, this is in the quality, is mainly helping you to detect the quality. So still we have just automated the detection process. We have still I would say we are of course some places we are still interlinking it with other things, but it will take some time. But currently what I see is just we have a sophisticated inspection with the technology, and that is going to be, of course that is also very useful because it will help us to take quick decisions. But I think the principles and basics will remain the same, even in future also. So the improvements will have to be done by the people. So there is no alternative to that. So quality improvement will have to be done by the people, and of course there is now a lot of aid or a lot of technology available to help them. uh, there is because of all this new technology, I think consistency is also definitely going to improve. But one of the fundamental thing which is going to happen is, I think, is quality by design, because most of the companies now in future, their problem of checking the quality will be easy, their problem of reporting the quality status will be easy. So that is fine, but how do you build quality, how do you design the quality? That is going to be one very important area that most of the organizations in future will have to work actually. So yeah, that is my take on this actually, future of quality.
Wow. So it's processing the information. So detection and capturing and collating information has become much better than what we
Yes,
started out with. I remember the first time
yes,
when we had to capture data, we had to take an actual table and sit in front and note it down. But like you said, it's being captured almost instantaneously and reported to the place of relevance very easily. But what's happening after that is, there's a big
yeah,
freeze.
and before
So
that
that,
also.
yes.
Yeah.
What is the data to be captured? Remember the first thing that Dr.
Yeah,
Juran said? What do you want to control?
yes,
It all
yes,
begins from there, choosing the
yeah,
control subject. So, anyway, wow, amazing. Yes,
yeah,
Anshuman, I think you have
yeah.
some
Yeah.
questions by now.
Yeah, we have some questions by now, but before that, Ankur, a regular visitor or a audience in our show, thank you, Ankur, for your comment. Quality tools will not change an organization, but culture will. So very well said. I
Correct.
think Nital also has highlighted this concept. Okay, some couple of questions I'll pick up. Even though the name is not for some reason showing up today, but I can check that this question is coming from Vipin Vaidyanathan, who's a quality professional based out of the Middle East,
Okay.
and his question is: do you believe that SMEs are and assuming small and medium enterprise are more receptive and responsive to advice and from excellence consultants like yourself in comparison to large corporations? Loaded question, but Nital, over to you.
See, it is when you want to sell, again, the most difficult thing to sell is quality and the improvement. Anshuman, you, me, and Balaji, and we all have seen, in our, whether you are in the organization, we are outside the organization. It doesn't make any difference whether you are inside the organization or outside, whether you are consultant. But selling quality, selling that improvement will benefit is always difficult, because you are all talking about future, and you can't show anything immediately, any hardly any cases you can show something immediately. And yeah, it is very difficult to convince the top management. But when we see, when we can showcase the case studies that has happened with other industries, when we create, show them some benchmark which other industries have done actually, then definitely they are inclined to this kind of ideas. When, but we have to talk the business language actually. So if you don't talk the business language, they are not interested actually. So yesterday only I was giving a, day before yesterday I was giving a training on cost of quality. How do you measure? So we had a 1 day workshop on how do you measure cost of quality. And it was surprising that the quality department is just reporting quality in first partial, they are measuring in percentage of conforming and something like that, but never tried to convert this into business language actually. And when I ask some simple questions, so for example, this is a chemical company, small chemical company, and they say, we, quality lab person says, we give them, we take the sample, first time it is not okay, after some time, second time they give sample and it is okay. Then I said, okay, what happens between these two, first and second sample? What do they do? Do they make any change in the process, or it becomes first it becomes right just like that? He said, no, no, they do something. Then what they do? They say they may be doing some agitation extra. They may be adding some material. And it is all poor, cost of poor quality. Just calculate the cost of this. Actually, it's huge. They say we are actually, we have accept with deviation. So we accept some products in chemical without with deviation. and said, okay, finished product. And then what happens to those products? They said, no, no, we sell, we have a customer. I say, okay, what, are you getting the same price that you were supposed to get? They said, no. Then what is the difference? They said this, and you just calculate this in money and then talk to your directors. They'll be definitely interested in quality improvement. They'll say, keep everything aside, first do this, you know. So of course, all the quality professionals must learn the language of business. Without language of business, you can't sell quality to the
Awesome. I think
Yeah, there's
we all
this
have
Lola's
seen,
favorite example. Yeah.
yeah, we all have seen similar stuff. And very early in my career, Nital, I was at that time working for a small, medium scale, small or medium kind of auto component manufacturer. And right in front of my eyes, one lot was actually rejected.
Mhm.
And so the obvious thing, and I was very junior, so but the obvious thing for the quality department was to stop the shipment. And the head of operations actually said that we can't stop this shipment because this is for India's largest automobile company. I was very junior. I said, all the more reason. If it is for the largest and best automotive company, all the more reason it should not go. And
Yes,
I still remember that it was shipped. And that is one of the first lessons I learned in quality, that how you can talk anything about quality, but when the crunch time come, your behavior will decide the culture of the organization. So the
correct,
culture of the organization was anything but quality or anti-quality, mainly because every now and then one such incident will happen, which will completely neutralize 3 6 months 1 year of hard work from our department.
correct,
So I
correct,
did learn a lesson that when I get to these positions where I am in the position to take a call like this or to influence a decision like this, I will not do this. And all my life, till career till now, I have been trying to live up to that promise that not again. And the cost of that thing was that we had to
Mm.
actually, and obviously the customer caught very quickly, because the first lot itself, 10 12 lot, the pieces, three or four had, and in automotive line, even one fails, they will
correct.
reject the whole lot. So we
Yeah,
had to actually stop our production. We had to send all the workers from this, put in a bus and send it to the customer site. They took the whole lot, inspected every single piece of the entire lot on a jig that we had to send with them.
yeah,
And imagine the cost. It was our
huge.
2 day production was stalled. Workers had to be sent there, paid extra, a huge reputation loss. After that, for 6 months, we were put on some kind of a watch list because our lot had failed.
Yeah.
So customer did not want to take any risk with us, and so on. But yeah, so I just got reminded of a quality story anecdote that is on the other side, the
Yeah.
anti-quality story. And sometimes those stark examples are easier to remember. One more. This is interesting from Neeraj on YouTube. After all these years, Nital, how do you define quality and what is the meaning of it to industry? Over to you. Balaji and I are leaving the show. But
Neeraj,
I think it's a very smart question. Neeraj, thank you very much. It's a challenge that I will pass on to Nital.
yeah. So actually, again, so yeah, and it's again, very difficult to, I would say, confine into few words actually. But I think the quality is basically it's a mindset actually. It's a attitude that you possess actually. And I mean, if I have to define quality, it will take maybe few pages or several pages, because I can't do this in one or two sentences actually. uh, but definitely, one of the thing which is very important is what I think is that quality has to be built into the design. That's my whole idea, because most of the places I see people are just focusing on detection and doing the corrective actions. I think quality has to be built into the product and not inspected. That is one very important definition that I would like to just mention. How do you identify in the beginning, how do you take some kind of preventive actions rather than just detecting and correcting the things actually? So that's how I would like to answer this question.
No, thank you, thank you. Neeraj, I hope you got the response, and thank you for your question. Vikram has an interesting question. Producing quality has two parts. First, to control and then to improve it. For controlling, we can use control charts for process behavior, and but how to use them, improve them continuously. So, Vikram, I will maybe take a shot at this, and then we will invite Nikhil to take his view. And Balaji, feel free to add to this. So Vikram, first of all, I think Dr. Duran did taught us teach us that quality management or management of quality, as Hitoshi Kume has said, it's not quality management; it is management of quality. That quality is actually three stages. So you set the standard, you control, and then you improve. So it is a which is popularly called Duran trilogy.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a lecture here. But Durant trilogy is the one of the most fundamental principles, similar to PDCA and other very core concepts in quality, which it will be good for you to read up a little bit. But your question is fairly accurate that there are parts to quality. You first set the standard and then you go ahead and improve. And process or control charts are used to look at behavior. You can use control charts for improvement as well, because it will be a visible demonstration of your improved process. So the usage of control chart will not improve your process. You will do something to the process which will then be reflected in the control chart. So
Yeah,
your
drawing the
thermometer in
control
your
chart
mouth,
is, yeah,
I'll
exactly.
give you an example. Putting thermometer in your mouth doesn't reduce the temperature. You do something for your temperature to go down, and then the thermometer tells you that the temperature indeed has gone down, and not only today, tomorrow also, and day after tomorrow also, and for many weeks as well. So if you use that principle, then certainly any of these tools, even control tools, are extremely good for improvement cycle, because they are a reflection of your improved process. So Vikram, that would be my answer, but we have two professors in the call, so I'll leave it to
No, actually,
uh,
it's unfortunate that Walter Schuhart called it the control chart because he said had he had enough time to reflect, he would have called it something else. Uh, because when he presented it for the first time to the top management of AT&T, he said there are two stages, and they were having a different problem. He addressed that first. He said, remove what is causing harm, but then start working on the process and start making it a better version of the process itself. And, but then he ended up calling it control, so people started, the terminology, I think, restricted the whole thing.
which is fair, that way, like
Yeah,
many examples like Pareto chart, Pareto principle itself,
exactly.
has actually nothing to do with Pareto, apart from
Exactly.
just borrowing the principle a little bit, and many other, even PDCA started at PDSA.
Yeah,
So there are many such things. But Nital, you want to
many
add
such
to this
things.
question? Interesting one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I think you have already, stolen my words actually. That there is a Juran trilogy, and this talks about quality planning, then quality control, and then quality improvement. But of course, quality planning comes. So control and verification is just one part of it, so that you can reflect. Now, in improve, basically, what you need to understand, because we are talking about now currently, whatever problems that we have encountered during the control or during the detection phase, we are trying to improve. So this is already the harm has already occurred. Okay, so on those things we are talking about. So the best tool will be for improvement is definitely root cause analysis, and there are many ways to do the root cause analysis, right? And then, of course, after doing the root cause analysis, you have to, as Anshuman mentioned, you have to take the corrective actions on an ongoing basis. Actually, unfortunately, people don't go to the root cause and they just work on the symptoms, and then they just think that it will go away actually, and then the symptom comes again actually, because people don't act on the root cause. But that's the whole idea of quality improvement, and which is there since Duran's time, and it's still applicable today also. Yeah.
no, totally. I think if we can all take one lesson from quality, all the quality text that is available to us, I would always say it is the concept of root cause analysis, that you go for why is something going wrong. Rest of
Correct.
everything falls into place. And even in life as well, if we and I do a little bit of career coaching as well, and I keep asking why are you thinking this way, why are you where you are. If we can't do the root cause analysis on our own work as well, then
Correct.
this doesn't work. Quite a few other questions. Another question from a user called from YouTube, SSJ3598. Uh, he has asked another question, but so I will join the two. Seems to be from a chemical industry. So, how's your experience in chemical industry? How we can use quality improvement in shop floor since nothing of the product is visible to operator. So, assumption is that it's a chemical industry, so you can't actually see the chemical flowing through. What is the impact of seeing versus not seeing? Interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually we are still currently working with few chemical companies also, and I think he's right actually. Chemical companies, I think there is a huge lot of work to be done in terms of quality. One unique thing about this kind of companies, chemical and process industries, when the process is not visible, it is flowing through five pipes and stuff like that, is that. And also another issue is that the infrastructure is fixed. You can't change the infrastructure every now and then, like discrete manufacturing or engineering industries. So in those kind of companies, the issue is there are a lot of complex issues that persist, and then we have to work on everything. So it is like, for example, I'll just give you one example, like a utility. Now, how all the utilities, because you can't run a chemical company without utilities. The quality of utilities is playing a huge role in the quality of the product actually. The second is about the way they keep the equipments, how they maintain the equipments actually, how what are the practices being followed. And we are working with currently one company, and we are just doing the basic things currently. We are not just going on the quality improvement currently. We are just saying that let us at least keep the equipment conditions in basic, you know. Let us improve the utilities. So utilities play a huge role because they are the backbone, so like you are having a steam, and your steam is the pressure and temperature is different than what it was expected actually, so it will have an impact on the thing. A lot of practices I have seen, which is like accepting the raw materials with deviation. Now, when you accept the raw materials with deviations, what happens is you will have to face the consequences. So, how do you get good suppliers? And that is also very important. So, chemical industries, good thing is that you have a lot of data because it's a data rich company. You have every second or every millisecond you have some data available in the DCS system, so a lot of opportunities to analyze this piece of information, so that's a good part of it. But yes, it is definitely possible, and it is definitely
Thanks, Nital. Before Balaji, you ask your question. Quick reminder to everybody: this has been an exciting episode. But before it ends, I want to remind everybody that Nital is very active on LinkedIn as well. And if you want to reach out to him, you can of course follow him there, and he will take time to answer your questions as well. And if you do need services from his organization, do reach out to the organization. He has a very uh, active website as well. All information available on his profile. I would strongly recommend that you follow him. And if you do have some more love left, then Balaji and I are also open to being followed. Uh,
Yeah.
so that is because we are trying to spread this word, around Qualitist and the quality profession, and any love is actually welcome. So many questions have come in additionally, but Balaji, I will let you quickly ask your question, which you are very fond of.
Yeah. Yes, I am very fond of this. Nital sir, you just mentioned at the beginning itself that one of the books that you always refer to is, Duran's Quality Handbook, right? Uh,
yeah.
are there any other, because that's both like a Bible, like a reference book, which I think all of us, it's one book I think we, by osmosis, we feel it should be slept upon, so that goes into our head. But are there any books that you would recommend? Of course, this handbook will be there; it's a part of our desk. But any books that you would like to recommend? Which actually either changed your thinking, or maybe you feel is the would be pointed towards the future of what's going to happen.
Okay, yeah. So definitely, the Handbook of Juran is the is one very important book, and I always use this and keep reading actually. Now, recently, what I am reading, I would, and I also feel this is something which should people should read is the principle of cost of quality by Jack Campanella. This is published by ASQ, American Society for
ASQ. Yes,
Quality.
yes,
Yeah, and this is a
that's
very fantastic book which explains, because most of the people still may not have idea about those four parts of cost of quality. How do you capture cost of quality? How do you report cost of quality? How do you define the elements and all that stuff? Because if you learn this, how to convert quality into cost, now the voice of quality will be heard, the voice of quality will not be ignored. So that's one important book I would like to recommend. And as you know that I was emphasizing on this quality by design. So so there I am currently reading this world class quality by Kiki Bote. This is also mainly on kind of design of experiments and stuff like that, but in mainly shining methods of design. I think Anshuman also mentioned something on LinkedIn about this pre-control charts rather than control charts, and I love that actually, because I was that time reading those that book only actually. So maybe Anshuman can also tell his experience about those some of the content of that book actually. Yeah. So these are the books I think I would
No,
recommend.
wow.
thanks,
Thank you.
thanks, Nital. And pre-control chart, of course, since you brought up, has had some controversy around it as being not too accurate and stuff. But the purpose it was introduced was to have a simpler approach, and of course, um, the purists have had their view, but it is useful in some situations. But obviously, like all tools, there are limitations to its uses.
Yes.
But it is a fantastic tool, and Shining
Yes.
methods. Many of these methods are. I've met Shining Duran Shinin's son a few times, and
Okay.
fantastic principles. In India, Bosch is using quite a bit of that. So, with that, we will end the show, and I can only thank. Nital, you and to giving us time, and of course sharing a lot of experience that you have, and being generous with your time and anecdotes. So thank you very much, Balaji. As always, Balaji has had to leave the show. I think he has a class to take, and I will. I've I'll let him go. But quick reminder to all of us, for our next show, we do end each show with the reminder of the next show. So the next in the line, of course, the quality show will be a month from now, last Saturday of October. But during that period, I will have my regular show, which is the Manage Better show. And next 2 weeks are very interesting guests. Govind Ramu, who's one of ASQ's leading lights, and
Yes.
very good friend of mine. Along with Govind and Anil Kumar, I had initiated the setting up of ASQ in India. So there is, if you want to hear that story of how ASQ came to India and what happened, and of course his views on quality and other stuff, yeah, you can join next week in the show. And what the next one, which is 15th, after that 15th of October, is with Abhijit Bhaduri, one of India's leading future of work proponents, and a very senior professional now with Microsoft. So quite a good lineup of shows coming up, but that should not stop me from thanking Nital. Thank you, Nital, and our wonderful guests. So, Nital, one request: quite a few questions I could not bring into the show for lack of time. So, whenever you have some time, and you can go and check
Sure.
the timeline on the LinkedIn thing, please try and answer. And quick reminder to everybody that do check Nital's profile on LinkedIn and the lovely work that he's doing along with his team. So thank you
Thank you.
once again, and I'll end the show with this. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Much.
Bye bye.
Bye.